Hello, and welcome to Girls Gaze Animes, where it is safe to love what you love and love who you love. I am your host, Valzaraptor, and I love egg sandos. I'm here with my co-host, T.
I am T, and I love playing Minecraft with my friends and leaving a bunch of chickens in their house so they multiply and leave eggs all over the place as a special present for them to find.
Thanks, T. Please don't leave any surprise chickens in my home. We are here with our special co-host today, Doki Doki Bun Bun.
I'm Doki Doki Bun Bun, and I love when the villain is romanceable at the end of the Otome game.
Ooh la la.
Chef's
Okay.
kiss.
Thanks for everyone for tuning in. Today, our topic is that time Doki Doki Bun Bun and I went to Japan for 2 weeks and all I got was crippling credit card debt.
Same.
I didn't go, so I'm not in debt.
Brag.
Humble brag of staying home and not going to Japan.
I purposely didn't bring props with me today to kind of like showcase the different things that I bought because I wanted to make sure that I was adequately describing them because the majority of this recant is going to be me just going, well, I bought this and I bought that and I bought this and I bought, whereas I feel like Bun Bun had a different vacation than I did. I mean, she absolutely did spend an exorbitant amount of money. However, I do feel like she experienced more, but it's because it was her first time in Japan, where it was my second time in Japan.
Yeah, I definitely feel like you shopped a lot more than me. Not, like you said, my whole couch is covered in stuff I bought, and I've put things away, but you definitely bought, especially I feel like manga. I feel like you bought a lot more books than I bought.
I bought 3 books.
Never mind, I bought more books than
Actually,
you did.
you picked up a book for me, so 4 for
did.
me.
I still bought more books than you. Just kidding.
I thought you were going to be like, I bought 3 dozen.
I also thought that's what she was gonna. So when she, on the trip, she was like, well, my suitcase is so heavy because it's full of books. So
Those are the books that I brought with me to read on the trip.
we packed different.
We did. So, just super high level for UT, our trip was, we started off in Tokyo, we stayed there for a couple of days, and then we went on a 12-night cruise around Japan with a little pit stop over on Jeju Island in Korea.
Oh, that's neat.
What's cool is being able to go to the Weeb otaku areas and like finding like even like the resale stores. I think one of my favorite ones was like the store where people, it's like a secondhand store, but people use it to sell their collections. And so the people go in and they get like a little cube, like a glass cube box, and they stage their own collections in the box. They put prices on all of their figures and they close it up, and then like it's just rows and rows of these boxes that people have filled up with their pieces that they're wanting to, you know, get rid of or sell or whatever, for whatever reason. And you get like, it's like open box basically, but the stuff is in such good condition. Like I got some pretty high dollar, I feel like, figures there for very reasonable prices by comparison. Not only just because I was getting them in Japan, but because they were also like secondhand.
Yeah.
I got
That sounds like when you go to an antiques mall and they have their own booth set up, but instead of like weird McDonald's toys from 1982, it's stuff you want.
Yeah. I think my favorite things that I got there were, I wanted gay boy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like I was on the hunt for it, and I did not find nearly as much as I wanted. I got a couple JJK things, which I will say count as gay boy stuff, because it had Gojo and Geto on it. And I did a TikTok on it recently, or I mentioned it in one of my TikToks, but they basically have these lotteries that you can do, and there's like a map with like a bunch of different grades of prizes that you can win, and you buy a lottery ticket, you open it, it tells you what grade of prize you get. And so I did a bunch of those, but I think my favorite purchases that we got from the resale store were, they were like bunny figures of Power and Makima.
Oh, cool.
So cutie.
They're super cutie. Bun, what's your prize purchase?
Oh no. That's such a hard question. So I feel like my prize purchases are all kind of weird. Or not weird, but just like really random, because they all are very like heavily attached to a memory type thing for me. So like one of my top prized possessions is just this like little like Lolita Daisy Duck keychain, because I happened to find a Disney pop-up in the middle of Kagoshima. They just randomly had one, and they had like all kinds of super like unique Disney stuff, and that was really cool. But then like I also got this little pin, and it just has like a shopping bag on it, and it just says Jeju Island on it. Because so when we got super rained out in Jeju Island, and like the whole group, we were originally in this like underground mall, just like checking out some like really cute stores and stuff, but the restaurants were really packed, and like not everyone could sit. And so at first me and my fiance were like, we're not really hungry anyways, like you guys go on ahead, we're just gonna go explore and get lost, and we'll see you guys later. And so like we went off, and we ended up like going to like this like small dumpling restaurant where my fiance got laughed at for how many dumplings he ate. True story. And then like we went to like this really small coffee shop where my fiance got laughed at for being too friendly. And you'll notice a trend here. It was also the best coffee I ever had in my life. It was really, really good. But then like we just like kind of wandered off and ended up finding this like really small, just like super cute, quirky store where I spent a lot of money just like buying the most random stuff. Like I said, like a little pin. I actually have it over on my board. You can kind of see it. It's just like a little shopping bag, and it just says like travel to Jeju. And like I got like some like postcards. At the temple with the bunch of stairs and the torii gates, there's a name for it. It has a name.
There's a lot of what you just described, but go on.
Yes,
insert name here.
It's really famous. It's the Inari. Is it the Inari Shrine? There's like tons of torii gates.
Oh, Fushimi Inari.
Thank you, that one. Fun fact: for 100 yen, you can just get a picture of a cat.
Aw.
They just, when you go up like really high, they had this like little board, and you just put 100 yen in a box. You could just pick whichever picture of a cat that they just took that like recently. That's a prized possession of mine.
What's so funny about the cat picture is because we didn't go with them to Fushimi Inari because we went last time. But when we went, we also bought a picture of a cat while we were there, and they had no idea. And then they were like, we got this picture of a cat. And I was like, oh my God, we did the same thing when we went.
Surprised. I was so proud of this thing. I was very excited. And then like we bought some like good luck tokens. Like me and my fiance got some loved ones, and then we got my son like this little backpack one that's supposed to bring you luck in school. And like there were just so many like interesting small knickknacks and like pictures and like just random things to find like as we explored, and definitely didn't get lost at all. Not even once. But like to me, I really just like treasure a lot of those like really small random things, because they all have, like I said, like a memory of like getting lost in the rain or something like that.
I get that. I'm one of those people who like I'll keep a shirt because I mean it doesn't fit me anymore, but something really important happened when I was wearing that shirt, and I want that shirt forever now. Or like
100%.
I have like, you know, like movie tickets and stuff like that, but I'll have like a little receipt because it was like, oh, I went to this place with this person, so I'm gonna keep this receipt because it was a nice day.
Yep. No, I save, I have in like a special folder in my email, just the like email confirmation receipt from the little ryokan we stayed in where my fiance proposed, just so I don't lose it. So I get that.
This is on a different tangent, but it's I guess a memory that I made because of all of like the knickknacks and like what's-who's-its that we got there. But the gacha, like spinny like prize capsules, I don't know why, but I was like on a mission at any given moment. I was looking for the Mofusand cat, and I don't know if T, are you familiar with Mofusand?
I'm pretty sure if I saw it, I would recognize it.
So it's basically like this series where they just take little cats and they just like dress them up and stuff. And you'll see it a lot like a tempura shrimp, like he's wearing a little tempura shrimp on his head.
Yeah.
So it's a Mofusand cat. Well, I found some in a gacha machine that were wearing like aquatic creature like suits. And so me and Bun Bun, we got them, and we got like a cute little whale shark one. We got a squid one. He's really derpy. He's like kind of like, eh. And
We
then
don't have to call him Burpee. I mean, he's a precious angel. That's fine.
and then we got a penguin one, and we're like, you know, we have another best friend. We're like, this is us. We are these three. So then later on in the trip, I was calling them my babies. I took my little babies around with me, and I was staging them like in different places along the trip. So I made it look like they were waiting for the train, or like they were going up the stairs to the temple, or they were having an iced matcha like at Starbucks.
Like 50 plus photos of these things. They started to get a little unhinged.
They did. They started doing like seances on buses and stuff like that. But look
Good
for the
for
Insta
them.
post later.
Good for them.
They were living their best life.
They were. So then, okay, the funniest part was when I went into Uniqlo for like the 100th time while I was there, and I find a pair of Mofusan pajama pants. And I'm looking at them, and there's like 3 different prints, and I'm like looking through them trying to decide which one to buy. And then a store clerk walks up, and she's like, she's like, oh, these are so cute. And I was like, yeah. I reach into the pocket of my dress, and I pull out the little babies. And I'm like, I love them. I just told this random lady, I'm carrying around these little trinkets in my pocket. And like the pants that I ended up getting actually had a whale shark and a squid on them, so she probably thought I was insane.
Tell me you're neurodivergent without telling me you're neurodivergent.
You sound like the person that parents warn their kids about, like, don't go up to the stranger that pulls the cute little animals out of their pocket because I'll never see you again. And you're like, look at my trinkets.
Doesn't matter. Speaking of the trip and telling your kids things like that, this is a tangent, but I want it recorded so I can embarrass him someday. We put my son on a flight to see my mother right before we went on this trip. And at the end of it, like I'm on the phone with him and I'm like, oh, how was it? Like, you didn't talk to any strangers, right? And he's like, well, I did. I talked to this lady who was sitting next to me. And I'm like, you're not supposed to talk to strangers, insert child's name here. And he goes, but Mom, she was so nice. She couldn't be a bad guy. Like, she was too nice to kidnap
She would never kidnap kids.
She would never kidnap a kid. So, no. Parents, I guess don't tell your kids that. They won't care. Because apparently there's a spicy medium. Like, if they're nice, they'll kidnap you. But if they're really nice, like, then they're fine. That's fine.
Everyone knows that.
So he probably would have thought you were fine because you had babies in your pocket. How could you be a bad guy?
Right.
Babies. Do you want to see the babies in my pocket, little boy?
Stop. My kid would be like, yes, please. You have babies? Let's go. I'm already in your car. Let's go.
Oh, my toddler would be like, hi, babies. And I'd be like, no.
Meanwhile, my husband was like, you sound like Linda from Bob's Burgers.
Oh, yeah. The little porcelain babies.
Yes! What does she say in that scene where she's like, I sent it to Bun Bun during the trip because I was like, my husband said that this is me. If you're not real, then why do I feel this way?
This way.
Little babies. It's me.
That was you by the end of it. You had I'm surprised the photos didn't continue, to be honest.
Thought about it. I think I'm gonna do an Instagram post where I just post pictures of my babies.
That's what I was hoping.
Going on little baby adventures.
They had a good time. We'll have them on next time guesting and telling us about their experience in Japan.
Oh my gosh, and it's just like a frame, like one of the little squares of them, and then you're like, yeah, I know, right? And I'm just like,
I'd watch it.
I'm like texting your husband on the side, like, is she okay?
She good. And he's
Do we
like,
need to get help?
he's like,
He already
no.
knows. He knows who he married.
He really do. So I know that there were a couple of things that I didn't get to do that I wanted to do, but I'm interested to see, because I haven't even asked, I guess, post-trip Bun Bun, is there anything that you wanted to do while you're there you feel like you didn't get to do?
Yes. I wanted, don't make fun of me, because
I
I know. So T, I got made fun of pretty bad by a certain person. I won't call them out, by a certain person on this call with us. And their husband, because I was telling them a story.
His husband. Won't say his name. Won't dox him.
I was telling them a story. So I really wanted to do the like 2 famous streets in Kyoto. But when I walked through, they were not open yet because I did not realize so many things open very late in Japan. They apparently do not enjoy getting up early, which I respect. But wish I had known prior to going, because I probably wouldn't have started my days quite as early in some places. But so there was this one thing I had seen on TikTok, and I'm going to try to tell the story without sounding like a rambling 12-year-old this time. But there are these pastries I see you watching in the shape of clouds, and I don't know what they are, but I wanted one. And it was on one of these famous streets, and I walked by the store, and I saw it on its little thing, and it looked so fluffy and so cute, and it looked like they had really good matcha, and I didn't get one because they weren't open. But otherwise, I think for me, not really, because I went in, I was very passenger princess on this trip, as you know. I made no plans. I just found some TikToks and was like, this looks cool, maybe do. And sometimes was told yes, and sometimes was told no, that's like hours away from where we are, put that away. So there really wasn't anything that like I had super prepared and like gotten my heart caught on that I wanted to do when I was there. I just really wanted to kind of explore and see as much as I could. The only other thing that like, I guess 2 other things is I would have liked to do Tokyo Disney longer, because I could do a whole episode just on Tokyo Disney versus Disney, because it's wild, which I mean makes sense because it's partially franchised, but that's another story. But
did you guys go to regular Tokyo Disney or
Disney
Sea?
Sea? We went to Disney Sea, but I wish I had been able to go to Disneyland as well.
I went to Land last time.
Because Disney Sea is just vastly different.
Yeah.
Yes, agree.
Yes. But also, there was a Sailor Moon exhibit that was passing through Japan still as we speak, but I missed it in an area that we were in by like a week. And so that's not really something we could have done, but I wish it had still been in the regions we were in, so I could have gone to it.
Yeah.
What about you?
How long were you guys there?
2+ weeks.
We left the US on a Friday. We're there for 2 weeks and came back on a Sunday. Speaking of pop-up, for me, one thing that I wanted to do was there was actually a Junji Ito pop-up while we were there. But because of a little snafu involving our flight getting canceled, I didn't get to go on our last day there. And while I was looking it up and like trying to figure out if we could make it, I also found that in a different region that we were in, a museum had an exhibit set up for him that I didn't know about and would have been able to do otherwise had I known about it. And so I was pretty upset that I missed that.
That's heartbreaking.
It really was, because I was looking at pictures of it online and I was like, fuck, that looks so cool. I love that guy. And then the only other thing that I wanted to do that I didn't get to do again, and this might have just been because we spent too much time at the herb garden, which I'm not mad about, was I wanted to like hand make rings while we were there. It's something I wanted to do last time we went. It's something that I wanted to do this time, and it just kind of fell off because we just got so enthralled in this different stuff that we were already like doing that day.
Elaborate on herb garden, please.
So it's actually the largest urban flower garden in Japan, and it's in like the Kobe area.
It was absolutely stunning. Everything smelled really good, and they had like one thing that I really liked about it was there was cool like flowers and plants and stuff, but there was also like a lot of stuff like built into like, I don't know how to explain it. Like there was like cool bridges and cool staircases and like just a lot of plant life in general, not even necessarily stuff that they were like actively growing for reasons and purposes. It was absolutely gorgeous.
So what was cool is there was a rope way up. So you would get on a gondola and it would take you all the way up to the top. And on the way up, it's pretty high up, but like you actually pass over like a waterfall and some other stuff on your way up. Very aesthetic. You can see like a huge view, like an upward view of the city. Gorgeous. You get to the top and then you look at the herb garden on your way down. And it's like a 2-hour hike down from the top once you get dropped off by the gondola. And this, like, to your point, like the smells, and like they make things there and stuff. So they do like teas, they do like they make perfumes and stuff out of it. The ice
cool.
cream, phenomenal. They also, I think they keep bees there too because they had fresh honey.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep. So that was all. Then like different like sections with like different types of flowers. They had like a whole section that was just like used for making salads, used for like seasoning food. And so they had like sections built out like that. They had just like rows and rows of like different flowers. They had a greenhouse with like a cutie little cafe. They had an area where you could soak your feet.
Yeah, it was overall, I felt like really like all inclusive of like all the different ways that like plants could be used.
That's neat.
Yeah, the conservatory greenhouse area was really cool too. And it was really nice to see too, because there was also just a lot of like their exhibits like had a lot of people going to them. Like I don't think we walked past any exhibits where, except like right when we got there first thing in the morning, but where people didn't go. So it was really cool to see that like they had done it in a way that like had people wanting to go in.
The other cool part about it is halfway down, like the garden kind of ends, and then if you don't miss your turn, you get to go down like a nature walkway, and then there's like some bridges and a couple different waterfalls that you get to see. And if you do take a wrong turn, you get to have like a more Ghibli-esque experience where you're walking on a random road and there's a bunch of rocks around it and you're wondering if you're gonna get hit by a car, but it's like very mossy and aesthetic.
I maybe took the most pictures out of the whole trip on this random walkway we should not have been on, because it was definitely a real road for cars. It was the most Ghibli thing I've ever seen. There was a wall that looked like a waffle. I have photos, you know, if maybe the Instagram wants waffle wall photos. But
Inserts here.
there were just like, it was really cute, because like, we were just walking along, there's just a random bus stop sign. I don't know how a bus would have gotten down that road, I'm gonna be honest
Very
with
precariously.
you. Very precarious. I don't even know that people should have been walking.
We should not.
We almost fell down this thing several times. But I almost think that was better. I almost feel like we got the better end of the deal.
You're just glad that we got to skip Monkey Bridge.
Maybe. It's bad enough. I had to go on a gondola, and then you guys wanted me to go on a monkey bridge? Absolutely. Let me tell you, Bun Bun does not like height. Bun Bun was not excited. I heard the word monkey bridge, and I couldn't decide what was more terrifying to me, the idea that there were monkeys on this bridge, or the idea that it was a bridge suspended. Both horrifying.
It was just named. There were no monkeys. It was just named Monkey Bridge.
Yeah, because it was one of those like bridges that's like, whoa.
It was a wobbly suspension, like rope style bridge. Yeah.
No, that's not.
Yeah.
A danger, but make it aesthetic.
Yeah. We did eventually make it to like back onto the trackway where we were supposed to, and we did get to see like one or two of the waterfalls that we were sweaty.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm pretty sure I lost 90% of my tattoo ink just there.
It was so bad. It was the day when we walked up to like where the gondola area was that morning. That was like probably the hottest day that we were there. It was so bad. I was like, hee, I'm gonna have a good time and take like selfies while we're walking around. Ka-chink, selfie, look at it. Sweat mustache. Visible sweat mustache in every selfie. And I was like, well, I'm putting my phone away now.
No, there was one day right at the end, I don't remember which day it was, because I don't think, like, I was told it was hot in Japan, and like you see in anime, they're like, oh, it's so hot, and you're like, okay, whatever. I lived in Florida at one point, I can handle heat, I'll be fine. When I tell you, me and my fiance, first of all, we walked up too many stairs. Bianchi, excuse me. We walked up too many stairs at one point. I really could not tell you, hundreds of stairs, the steepest stairs to ever stare. It was terrifying. I had to change my shirt a fourth of the way through the day because I was so covered in sweat that it looked like it had rained and it had not.
I didn't realize you changed your shirt that day.
Yeah, the skirt day. I started the day in a very nice lavender shirt and I ended it in the yellow Mickey Mouse shirt that I bought for my son. True story. It was wet outside. Like the air was thick
Oh.
with 3 C's.
I want to
maybe.
add to the imagery of me having the sweat mustache in selfies and note that I was holding a UV blocking umbrella and holding a hand fan, and I still had a liquid sweat mustache.
Pretty
That is how hot it
noticeable.
was.
You didn't even have to zoom in on the photo
You
to see
didn't.
the sweat mustache. It was just there.
It was.
That's
like,
wild.
The drops were like perfectly caught by the camera.
And
I just want to make sure that the audience really understands how sweaty your mustache was.
the worst part is we're like maybe 1 week into the we're like a couple days into the trip. I got my mustache waxed before we left. What was the water even holding on to?
The sheer
ghost.
will and determination.
Yeah.
The ghost of mustache pass.
Why did I even get my mustache waxed if it's still gonna cling onto the sweat?
I didn't realize we got our mustaches waxed for sweat wicking purpose.
Wait, why'd you get yours mustache waxed?
Because I knew how many photos you were gonna take, and I knew that with my luck, every single photo you would see the like one really aggressive dark mustache hair I get right here just be there for all of them. I guess in hindsight I could have just plucked that one hair, but oh well.
Well, it didn't stop the sweat anyway, so.
It didn't. It definitely did not.
What other questions you got for us, T?
I think
Oh,
we've
yeah,
covered
like-
sweat.
Yeah, we covered sweat and mustaches pretty thoroughly.
We covered eggs. We covered mustache sweat.
You know,
That was everything T had.
Yeah.
the three letters of Japan: eggs, sweat, and shopping. ESS. So, like, when you guys were planning this, and I know you said, Doki, that you were passenger princess, so I guess this is more directed to Val. When you were planning, how did you, like, I guess for people who have never been to Japan who are interested in going, like, what made you pick this cruise? How did you go about, like, was it all inclusive? Because I know we have had friends who have gone and everything was all inclusive, like the flight and everything, and they just gave these people money and they went on their way. Like, how did it work to get to your trip?
Yeah, so we picked the cruise because it lined up with my work has a period of time where they highly encourage folks to take vacation. So I knew in advance that I would need to be on vacation during the specific time frame. And so we were looking for different things to do in July, and we found this cruise, and we knew, I mean, we went to Japan last year. We knew we wanted to go again. And Doki's fiancé had brought up that he's been wanting to go and that he had friends that would be interested in going if he went, yada yada. And we thought about how much effort went into when we went the first time, because we planned out most of our days. We left time for like wandering around and stuff, but we're like, you know what? We spent a lot of time navigating, so we figured a cruise might be easier and we'd get to see different regions that we didn't get to see before thanks to the cruise. And so we found this one, and it like lined up perfectly with like the vacation period that we were going to be on. And it was also cool because we got to pop over to Korea, which is nice because I hadn't been there in a while. Though I'll say that Jeju Island is vastly different from like mainland Korea, but
I would agree with that. I will say I don't know that we got the best shot of Jeju, just because like everything I've seen on it online, like everyone says it's absolutely gorgeous, but we were pretty stuck in the port.
yeah, we were
So-
stuck in the port town, and it was pretty rainy, and like yeah, that kind of was stinky. But that's kind of how we picked the cruise. The cruise itself was inclusive in the way that like all the food was included, and basic beverages like waters and breakfast juice and like ice cream were included.
Left with a $2,500 bill.
She upgraded her inclusiveness to include
I did not. My fiancé did. I did not.
adult beverages and fancy coffees
And water bottles.
and water bottles, the highest value item.
Truly the highest value item. Yeah.
So we didn't, and for flights though, because we knew when we were going, we wanted to go in early. We didn't want to like fly on like the day of the cruise or the day before. So we found our own flights, knowing our own schedules, and we tracked flights for quite a while. And when prices dropped, I think we got flights for like $1,600 a person, which is fairly reasonable considering where we live. Now, if we lived somewhere out in California, we would have been able to fly like Zip Air, which is super cheap by comparison. like $200 to $300 instead of $1,600.
I just saw a TikTok about them today. I was like, what's the catch?
Nothing. It's you just have
There's
to get to LA or
That's crazy.
wherever. Yep. So you could probably fly first class on Zip Air to Japan from LA for like $400 or $500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to get there first.
You just have to get there. And by the time you spend $1,000 to get to LA and then an additional $500 to get to Japan, it's like, well,
About the same.
yeah, I'll just fly Air Canada, connect in Montreal, and go on my way. Unless, again, your flight gets canceled and they reroute you, and then you're flying a series of other unconnected flights and different flight providers, but that's neither here nor there.
It's a different episode.
Yeah, we got our flight separate. The cruise was mostly inclusive. One of our ports was very close to our port for the next day. So what we did was we hopped off and we stayed off the boat one night and then got back on the boat at the next port. It was really nice. It meant that like we could spend more time on land and get a earlier start to our morning. Bun Bun stayed at like an Airbnb style ryokan. And then my husband and I stayed at a very traditional ryokan that included like a public bath and traditional Japanese style like breakfast and meals included. It included like, I don't know, that was another experience that I was very grateful to get this time that I didn't get last time, right? Because like we went into the ryokan and they're like, oh, you know, take your shoes off. It's one of those things where my feet get the best of me again. I go in, I take my shoes off, I walk up, I go to put my feet even near the women's slippers, and this man goes, no, and then points at the men's slippers. So then I slide my feet perfectly into the men's slippers, and then they guide us to our room. Then they were all very sweet. So then they guided us to our room and were like, you know, there was like a table set up for food, and then they came in afterwards and like brought us snacks. But we had like a screen that we could go out into a garden from our room. We had a soaking bath in our room as well. And then when we left for the evening, they turned down like the snack area into our futons, like the mattresses where we slept. She also explained when we checked in that there was like 3 different outfits. And I was hella stressed I was going to wear the wrong outfit. My husband hella stressed he was going to accidentally flash someone because he's got thick thighs, and these outfits not made for thick thighs. And so we're trying to politely sit at this, you know, it was like kotatsu style, like it was a short table. We're trying to like politely sit at this table, try not to flash nobody, where she's like bringing in, you know, the food, the meals. It was very nice because I told them I was vegetarian, and they modified the Japanese style breakfast for me, so that I didn't have any animal, like no meats, right? So like my husband, he had a bowl of baby anchovies, and they brought me like a bowl of watermelon instead, which I'm like, thank you so much. Because those baby anchovies, they looked like something else that was very unappealing. I will not mention it on this podcast, but you can imagine little white, not noodle-like things with eyes.
You don't want to know.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's for the Patreon again.
No.
That wasn't even for my brain. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure I had a
that's-
nightmare about the imagery she provided just last week. You
Yeah.
don't want to know, T.
It makes me think of when somebody opens a pack of natto and you see like the
Oh,
they
the
s-
string bean, yeah.
and it's like
So
Bleh.
yeah, we're trying not to flash the very nice lady while we're sitting down eating our breakfast. And then we're like, okay, we need to like shower, and we didn't know we had to change into a different outfit for walking to the public bath. And so then, you know, like we kind of like walked out in like our robes and then our slippers, and the guy who was in charge of shoes, he kind of comes over and he like guides us, tells us where it is. We got up early enough that there was no one else in the public bath that morning, but honestly, I don't think I would have cared much. Like it was so like peaceful, and like I don't know, it was really nice. I would have loved to have stayed there multiple days, just because it was a really cool experience. I highly recommend to anyone that goes to Japan to, at least for a day, stay in a traditional ryokan for the experience. And then whenever we would leave, we would go out and we'd kind of like take our slippers off from the guy, like knew who we were and knew which shoes to bring us. And he would stage them for us so we could put our shoes back on. And then they'd always like walk us out and like wave goodbye to us whenever we would leave.
That's
and then,
so sweet.
And when we checked out, they're like, do you want us to, I was like going to take a selfie, like, oh, do you want us to take photos for you? And I was like, oh yeah, that'd be great. And at the time it was a hot day, so they had like a misting fan on them. So then they're like all scurrying around trying to figure out how to cut the fan mister off so that they can take pictures for us. And then so they get us pictures like in kind of like their garden area, like leading to the check-in. And then we walk out and we're like, oh, can we get a picture in front of your sign? And they're like, yeah. So a taxi pulls up to grab someone else and they're like, oh my gosh, so sorry. Like to the taxi person, like, can you please, we're trying to get a photo. And so then they're like ushering the little taxi guy away so that we can get a good photo in front of the ryokan. It was so sweet.
That's
Angels.
adorable.
It was precious. There was one other experience that we won't go into too much detail, but it was like one of our first nights there, and our partners went on a cutie little man date to a restaurant. What style of restaurant was it? What do they call it?
Omakase.
An omakase. They went to an omakase together. Cute little man date. Bun
It's
and
true,
I.
like Yankee dressed up. He was very excited about his outfit.
And that was when Bun and I went on our date to Kura, where I ate an obscene amount of American craft singles. And and afterwards, I go to navigate us back to our hotel.
Stop.
And now I asked before we left, hey, what is the name of this hotel? Because I didn't book it. I don't know the name of the hotel. And she's like, oh, I know it. We'll figure it out. I'm like, okay. So we go to leave. And I'm like, hey, what's the name? What's the name of the hotel? And she starts telling me, and I type it in. I'm like, okay, there it is. Click, navigate. We're walking for like 25 minutes. Mind you, it's like 10 p.m. in Tokyo. It's like,
we're just like toddlers.
We're dressed like, we're wearing like the overall like baggy pant leg, like we're dressed like toddlers. And normally great attire for walking around Japan. However, at night, people are significantly more fashionable, I would say. So that was kind of embarrassing.
So cool, and we looked 12.
Yeah, so that was one piece of it. So we're walking for like 25 minutes and we're like, man, we are so full from dinner. We are tired. Our feet hurt. We have to go to the bathroom, etc. And I'm like, well, we're almost there. And I'm like, weird, the hotel should be right here, but it like wasn't looking right. So I'm like, maybe Google Maps like has it wrong. So we like kind of go around the building and I'm like, okay, this must be the side entrance. It's just like a different view. So we go into a service elevator and I'm like, not realizing it's a service elevator at the time. I'm like, my room key isn't working. We get up to the 14th floor. Now, Bumba doesn't even realize that the elevator has gone up.
I thought we were still on. I just thought we were locked in on the base floor and the door wasn't opening. I didn't know we'd move.
No, we were moving up and I couldn't stop us from moving up. We're panicking for different reasons. We get to the 14th floor. The door's open. Very nice service gentleman there doing some laundry. And he's like, oh my gosh, you're in the wrong elevator. Here, let me help you get to the right elevator. So he hops in. He takes us down. And then he walks us around to the front of the building. We walk in. This isn't our hotel.
No.
We were at the right hotel, wrong location, 25 to 30 minute walk from our actual hotel location.
So it was like if you went to a Hilton, but it wasn't the right Hilton.
Okay, but in my defense, it was like if you went to a Hilton Garden Inn and then you went to a different Hilton Garden Inn.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't, I'm like, okay, I went to a Hilton Garden Inn and I was supposed to be at like, Home 2 Suites.
Yeah.
Like, they had the same name, at least, okay?
Yeah,
This is not sponsored by Hilton, unless you want it to be. Anyway, so we get to this, we're like, get the instructions, and we know that our partners are back at the hotel, in their respective rooms. One of them is asleep, the other one is like, do I need to meet you guys? Are you gonna be okay? Are you gonna get kidnapped?
Her husband's like, you two can never... He's like, I don't know why I thought you two should go off on your own. It's never a good idea. Who put Bun Bun in charge of telling you where we're staying? Meanwhile, my boyfriend at the time, now fiancé, was racked out, catching Z's, fully passed out, thought I was in her room. He didn't even know I was like still out and about. He
no.
thought I was back in her room, and I was like, "Don't you think I would have told you?" And he was like, "I don't know. I just assumed you wanted to hang out with her."
The part that's specifically weird about this too is that he knew that my husband was back. He also knew that the rooms in this hotel are like literally 300 square feet. So he thought the three of us were just hanging out in this 300 square foot room, which is only large enough for the queen size bed. And he thought we were all just vibing. And he's like, cool, they're having a good time. Great, I'm gonna catch a nap.
Like, hope they're having fun. Bye.
Meanwhile, my husband's like, you're never allowed to go anywhere by yourself again. I can't let you do anything. Are you sure? Like, I will put he was in his pajamas. He's like, do I need to get dressed and meet you guys? Like, are you scared? Are you safe? Is everything going to be okay?
Well, we're just like crying, laughing on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm. People probably thought we were intoxicated.
Oh, there's no way we didn't look drunk the whole time. That was fun, though.
It was good.
10 out of 10 would get lost in Tokyo again. I feel like moments like that, though, are always the most, like, special. Like, I feel like the more unplanned and, like, I guess awkward and stuff are better. I mean, look at my proposal, for example. It was 5 in the morning. I hadn't brushed my teeth, and my partner panic proposed to me, and it was beautiful.
Did you reverse card him?
I did. T, did I tell you about that?
Mm-mm.
I'm very proud of this. So I had, I knew he was gonna propose, but so I had made
on the trip, but she didn't know when.
Right, I knew he was gonna propose in Japan. I just didn't know when. Although I did suspect it would be when it was. So I am pretty proud of myself. But I had made him like a little Lego box to put like his ring in eventually. But so I got a silicone ring with some stuff like inscribed into it. And then so, you know, it's 5 in the morning. I look disgusting. I smell really bad. I haven't showered yet. We're watching the sunrise over the Buddhist temple next door. He said the most beautiful speech. He's shaking like a leaf. It was very romantic. The most romantic, precious moment. I'm gonna cry just thinking about it. It was so sweet. And he's like, you know, will you marry me? And I'm like, yes. Wait. And then I start panicking. I'm like, wait. I have something for this. Hold on. I trip trying to run because so in our ryokan it was like set up so there was like a traditional side and like a western side, and we stayed in like the tatami room. And so I like tripped over the door trying to get back in the room. I'm like throwing things out of my overnight bag to grab this ring box. I ran back out. I'm like out of breath. And I like get down on my knee too because I wanted to like meet him on his level. And I was like, I just went Uno reverse and I opened the and this poor man is like, what? And I'm like, will you marry me too? And he's like, of course. But again, he's like full body tremoring.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Uno reverse. And now we're engaged.
So that made me think of when I got engaged. It was like the week after I graduated college. I graduated a semester behind my husband. So it's like the middle of December. We just spent like the entire day moving all of my stuff up 3 flights of stairs because we didn't have, we moved into a really old building downtown and it didn't have an elevator. So my husband, like some of our friends, some of my family are helping us carry all this upstairs. So we are also gross and disgusting. And we had like set up a Christmas tree. And like the rest of the house was together because he had already moved in there before I did. He was just basically waiting for me. And he's asking me to marry him. Like he gets down on one knee. It's very beautiful. And like he's shaking and everything. I am so shocked because I had a feeling he was going to ask me. I just didn't know when because we had been together since high school at that point. And in my shock, I said, fuck off. Like, fuck off. I can't believe this is happening. But I just stopped at fuck off. And I could see, like, the color drain. I mean, and I was like, no. And we still, like, he looks over at me sometimes and he's like, so are we actually married? Because you told me to fuck off? Or, like, do you like, want to be here?
Yeah. Or do you, like me? It's unclear to me at this point.
Did you get, like, your wedding band engaged and it just says fuck off on the inside?
Oh my god.
No, but I should.
You should. It's never too late.
I have to steal his
I was
wedding
about to
band.
say, just take it in the middle of the night. That won't panic him if his ring's just
No.
missing. No, of course not.
He never takes it off unless he's like showering too, so he will extra have a.
It'll be even better. Don't even take it off when he's showering. Wait till he's asleep and
Mhm.
just sneak it off of his hand. That should freak him out. Romance.
Oh no, your ring, it missing. What could have happened?
Oh, where has it gone? You must have
How?
dropped it in your sleep.
I feel like T is as bad of a liar as you are, Bon Bon.
I didn't know that was possible.
I couldn't lie my way out of a paper bag.
It's just not good. There are some very embarrassing stories. We can save those for another episode. Very embarrassing stories of me trying to lie, both for self-preservation and board game purposes. None of which have gone good. Unfortunately, our friend Valsoraptor over here has witnessed, I'm pretty sure all of them at this point. All very embarrassing.
I forget the rules of a game halfway through, and then I just try to lie my way through the rest of it. I'm like, you told me what this did, and I don't remember. I'm pretty. I don't have to remember.
Better than what I just passenger princess. I just pick someone, and I go, I'm on your team now. We're playing together.
We're a united front.
Yeah, people are always confused when they come over for board game night because they'll go, oh, we have 9 people, but this game is only for 8. And I'm like, oh, you're not counting her, are you?
Let's go!
And then she's just like, and then she like has like some sake or like a beer or something, and she's like, I'm here to party.
Usually Val or my fiancé will be like, all right, which card do you like? And I'm like, that one's cute, use that one. And they're like, all right. That's how I contribute.
Or
Yeah, I lean
roll
over
on
and
the
I'm
dice
like-
sometime, or you know.
Yeah.
Sure I do.
I'll be like, move to that spot, and my husband will be like, what's the strategy? I'm like, I don't know, it just looks like good real estate. Go there.
That's a good looking spot right there.
It just looks like a good time. Go to that spot.
Sometimes that's all the strategy you need. Probably not.
it's really not, but we'll go with that.
We can pretend.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can think of. I guess just like general pro tips for traveling to Japan. Get a goddamn suica.
Get
Like,
a suica.
As soon as your ass touches grass in Japan, get a suica.
I actually found out after the trip because my fiance and I looked into the suica cards a bit more. You can actually now, so I guess for a while you couldn't during COVID because the chips were really hard to get, but now you can order them online before your trip and they'll be mailed to your house. So you can have it before you even get to Japan.
I've heard of
which
that.
I would highly recommend. Because
And they're like a, is it like kind of like a debit concept?
It's like a BART pass, but works for every almost mode of transportation in Japan.
But you can also use it in the vending machines, right?
Yeah.
It's like a Disney Magic Band.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first night on the cruise. We were like, all right, me and my fiance spent all this money on this drinks package. We need to start getting value now. We have hours during the day to make up for.
And so every 5 seconds I'd be like, where is your drink?
Well, it was very embarrassing when the guy was coming over to sell it to us, I will say, because the guy's like, all right, and there's like 6 of us there, right? And, you know, my fiance is a big guy. He's 6'2", he's built, he's a bigger guy. And I'm 5'4".
The shortest by far.
I am the shortest person in this group, hands down. And the guy's like, all right, so who drinks the most out of everyone here? And literally, 3 of you, you, your husband, my fiance, all just stop and point at me. And the other 2 in our group didn't say anything, but they looked at me. They don't even know me that well yet. And the guy's like, okay, but like in a sitting, not just like in general. And they just, again, point aggressively at me. And this guy's just like... And literally, my fiance's sitting there, and he's like, I mean, I know you'll get the value out of it. And I was like, what are you trying to say about me? Unfortunately, I do think I was the one who got the value out of it.
You got the most value out of it.
I mean, if you're gonna pay for it, you have to... That's sustainable.
That's what I was like. Every time we went somewhere and I looked at the menu and it said dining plan accepted, I'm like, what's the most expensive thing that I
Yes.
can get my money's worth?
Yes.
100%. I drank so many pina coladas.
And it's not
Good.
because she's like a pina colada girly. It's because it's the only drink that didn't taste like
Yeah.
trash.
Oh.
True. The drinks were, it was really weird. It was like, so the first night, I felt like they were like aggressively pouring my alcohol. Like, actually, I would say most of the trip, they really wanted me to get my money's worth. And like, for like a standard drink, like if I was ordering like, you know, gin and ginger ale, then yeah, I want as much gin as possible in that cup, very little. I just want to smell some ginger ale, just enough for carbonation, right?
I want the concept of ginger ale.
But if I'm on a cruise, so I'm like, I want margaritas, I want daiquiris, I want bougie little drinks that I don't want to whip out my blender for every 5 minutes at home, but I'm okay asking you to.
Yeah.
And so when you are like filling a pina colada with like so much, it just becomes gasoline at a certain point. And so like a lot of these drinks were very aggressive. Like I would argue I got my money's worth every day in my first 2 drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am a lightweight. Like
Oh.
I don't drink often. And like when I do, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get this cute little fancy wine, and I'm going to read
fair.
at my book club with my fancy wine. And I remember one time we went to Chili's of all places, and we had just finished like rewatching Scrubs, so I wanted an appletini because I was like, I'm gonna be like JD, I'm gonna get an appletini. And I took a sip of this thing, and I was like, oh my god, am I really this much of a lightweight? Like I'm puckering, I'm like dying. And I slide it over to my husband and I'm like, taste this. Am I losing my mind? And he's like, no, they poured the bar in there for you. It was the only drink I got and I was stumbling out the door. But I was like,
Not
I
have
got my
survived
money's
the
worth.
cruise. You would not have lasted.
No.
You would not have gotten your money's worth out of the drink package.
No.
I would have tried and then I would have floated next to the boat. I would have
It
been
wouldn't have
gone.
been good because I'm a bad influence because I won't lie. Don't listen, audience. Don't listen. But T, I had a lot of drinks, a concerning number of drinks, I would argue. But I'm a bad influence, so I constantly was bringing Velociraptor drinks. I was constantly bringing my fiance. Anyone who looked at me got a drink. So I probably would have accidentally poisoned you. I'm so
Probably.
sorry.
It's okay. That's a different timeline that we didn't have to go through. I'm the ghost on your mustache. That's what the sweat was clinging to. If you zoom in and you like enhance it, it's me like,
Can we get an edited photo? I want to find a photo of both of us where we're really sweaty.
Yeah.
And I just want to just crop T really small in on one, maybe both of our mustaches.
Every
Just in the
drop of
reflection of
sweat is
dropping.
another like face of tease.
I was gonna say, or you could have a picture where it's like both of your faces close together like this, and I'm just like stretched out across both of you, like.
Just across the mustache. It's like you were with us the whole time.
I
She's
was
been there the whole time.
Whole time.
Wow,
my
2
God.
dropout references in one episode.
We're not sponsored by them.
Unless you want to be.
Hey Sam.
We tangented again, but to synopsize, to wrap this up, we said if you're going to Japan, track your flights. If you're going on a cruise, it's not a bad idea if you don't want to deal with like the navigation piece of it. It can be, you know, beneficial from that standpoint. Get a fucking Suica.
Get a Suica.
Get a Suica.
No, you don't think you need it. You need it.
You're like, oh, I'm not going to be in Tokyo for a long time.
You can use it everywhere.
You can use it on anything. Japan Rail. Is it called Tokyo Rail? No, it's called Japan Rail. You use it on rail passes. You use it at vending machines. You use it to buy your egg sandos.
Don't be super afraid to not be able to get around or like talk to people. I know that was something I was really scared and intimidated by. Everyone's really friendly and it's actually a lot more like English friendly and I would just in general other language friendly than expected. So don't be scared. It's okay. You'll be all right.
Could you use the Suica at like a convenience store or something? Oh wow, you really can use it everywhere.
That's what I meant. That's why I said buy your egg sandos with your Suica.
That when you said that, I was like,
Yes.
Alexandra.
Some restaurants even take Suica.
Mhm.
Wow. Was Japan, from what I've understood in the past, very cash based still?
Not really.
Mm-mm. It's
Really?
very Suica based.
No. No, but yeah, like my
In Suica, we trust.
Pledge
Um,
allegiance to the Suica.
To the Suica.
my credit card, I was able to use my credit card pretty much everywhere. It was pretty rare that I really needed cash. So no.
I will
That's
say,
good.
if you're going to Japan, though, either make sure that your phone plan has the ability to add international data, or like when you're there, depending on how long you're there for, either get a mobile hotspot or get like a SIM card for your phone, because you are going to want to use your phone for navigating not just the rail system, but just like kind of walking around. Because I don't want to say you can get lost easily. I mean, I had a map and I still got lost. That's on me though. But it's just helpful to have. It's also nice if you get somewhere and there aren't like photos or there's a sign you want to read. You can pull up Google Translate or ChatGPT. You can like send ChatGPT like a photo of something, and you can just tell it to translate, and it'll translate what's on the photo for you, which was super useful when we were at like shrines and we wanted to like understand like what the message was there. Learned all about tanukis that way. That was super cute.
Learned how to flush a toilet thanks to Google Translate. Because there were no signs in English and I didn't know what button to press. But Toilet Translate knew.
Toilet's very either very fancy or a hole in the ground. Usually, in my
Yeah.
experience, very fancy in Japan.
Stop. The doors, ladies, people who present as ladies, anyone who uses a women's restroom really, the doors in the bathrooms, you can't see out of them. No one's looking at you while you pee. I gotta tell you, that was the first thing I missed when I got back. I got back to America, I immediately made eye contact with a child while trying to use the bathroom in the airport.
Oh yeah, because there's no like gaps on the
There's
side or
no
the floor.
gaps.
In fact, if you find yourself wanting privacy in your fully secluded restroom stall while you're in Japan, there is a privacy button that will play light melodies for you so that no one can hear you going to the bathroom.
Sometimes nature sounds and waterfalls. I pressed all of them just because I wanted to hear the different sounds.
You got
Yeah.
the heated seats, you got the front splash, the back splash, the air dry, the sounds, it'll like spray smells so that it's not smelly in there. Like, oh, you didn't see one of those?
A sniff button?
Yeah, the
didn't
scratch
see
and
this.
sniff button on the Toto toilets.
I didn't find a single scratch and sniff button.
Not on a single toilet. But yeah, so whether you're a weeb or not, go to Japan.
Yeah.
There's
As-
like old stuff to see, there's like nature stuff to see. There is weeb stuff to see. There's cool stuff to do. One thing that I did last time that Bun Bun did this time was the team labs.
So cool.
It's
It was-
just such a vibe.
It was really, really cool. And like, I knew a lot of people went there to take photos, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But like, honestly, it was such a cool experience. Even if you're not like super into taking photos for Instagram and stuff, I'm really bad at taking photos. I saw you nod, yes, rude. It was really cool. The whole experience was very immersive, very like tactile and hands-on. But
Right, because it's not just like a photo place. Like, it is an interactive, multi-sense art installation. Like, that
Yes.
is what it is. If you take pictures there, great. There are some rooms you can't take photos. You're climbing around on like mountains of like, you know, you're crawling and you can't take photos, or you're like in knee-deep water, whatever. But I don't know,
a lot of
really
stuff
like
to
it.
touch. I got to poke a bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
There was like warm water. That was cool. I describe
Sounds
things in really
very,
weird ways.
very cool.
I'm really dreading hearing myself explain Japan 'cause I have not done this country justice.
I touched
Ooh, warm water.
in
I want to go to
Japan.
there.
I want to go to.
Meanwhile, we got there. The first thing my fiance said, we were there for like an hour, and he goes, "This place was made by engineers for me." I was like, "That how we're gonna sell Japan?" But that is how he's described it to every single person. So maybe
Every-
that'll
everything
that'll sell you better
seems
than warm
purposeful.
water.
I guess the translation for non-autistics is everything seems purposeful the way that it's done there. And I'm saying that as an autistic person, right? Like, I get his viewpoint where things are designed a certain way to function a certain way.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen that as not a complaint, like I guess a complaint against the United States. Whereas, like you said, everything there is purposeful. There's a reason. There's like timing, and like with the train system, for example, like public transportation just makes sense once you like. It's shocking at first for us, but once you're used to it, it makes perfect sense. It's easy to use. Whereas here, it's like, no, you just have to good luck everybody else.
Here you're like, I want, like, when someone's like visiting DC or something, my favorite thing to suggest to people when they visit DC is to make sure they check, is Metro on fire prior to going. Where in Japan it's like everything is on time. It's perfect.
Yeah, no, and that's even like things like there aren't a lot of trash cans around, for example, so you have to like carry your trash, but the cities are so clean. Like everywhere's clean. The trains are clean. The train stations are clean.
Everyone is so respectful there. Like, to your point, there are no trash cans. There are recycling bins, but there are no trash cans. But that doesn't mean that there's trash on the ground. Everything is clean and tidy. Like, people, because there's no trash cans, people aren't just leaving trash on the ground. That's not what it's like.
Even in my fiance and I accidentally ended up in a shady alleyway with businesses that I maybe didn't want to make eye contact with because I am the way I am. And even that street, pretty clean. I didn't see trash everywhere. Just I made eye contact with things my eyes were not ready for. But
I'll translate that to, like, the red lights were so blinding to your eyes that you couldn't see.
I was just so caught off guard. I was shocked. We were on such a cute little street, and then we weren't. And then we were on a cute street again.
Whiplash.
But even there, even somewhere like that, where you're like, you would expect it to be like a little grimier and grittier, but like at least compared to like if I were to go down a street like that in New York, very different experiences.
Yeah, it's also significantly better. Like the city space is better planned for folks with disabilities.
Yeah. There is like some of the stuff I don't know that I would have picked up on, but like you and my fiance pointed out, but like they had such a like good infrastructure for like people with like who are blind or hearing impaired, and like just like navigating the city, like not even including things like on the trains and things like that, but like the city itself, walking around, getting around. America could never.
I don't think I went through all of the tips and tricks that I had, but I mean, it was a good trip. 10 out of 10, would go every year, would retire to there.
Plan to retire to there.
Yeah.
Go to Japan, get an egg sando.
Go to Japan, eat 10 egg sandos.
Or don't.
Get the fruit sando, or don't.
Get the pudding sando. Get a matcha ice cream. Do.
Get 4 matcha ice creams in one day. Oh, one thing that I didn't add that I know a lot of people do, when I went to Nara, the deer, I get to Nara, first thing I see, I watch a deer headbutt a child. And I was like, well, that's all I needed to see. Thanks, Nara. But no, it was cool, because like if you had food, if you held it up, the deer would bow for it. And now I have a new way to ask my partner for snacks. I just bow and I go, snack please. Because that's what the deer in Nara do. So that's what I do now.
Snack, please.
Snack please. One snack, please.
Does it work?
He kind of glares at me, but I do get snack.
As long as you get the snack, that's all that matters.
It still worked.
But did it work though? Yeah. It did. You have any other questions about our trip, T? Feel sufficiently convinced to go. They have warm water. I don't know if you heard.
Stop.
I love warm water. Say less.
Never said. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people, I feel like when you're like, Bun, what's your favorite thing you saw? Bun, what's your favorite thing you bought? What was the coolest thing you did? And I'm like, potatoes? I saw a Magica Pachinka ad. Like, I just completely forget, like, everything. Like, I'm gonna get off of this and be like, why didn't I mention any of my laundry list of favorite things in Japan? So yes, unfortunately, all I could come up with was warm water, but it did feel really nice when I stepped in the warm water, even though I'm pretty sure it was just their sneaky way of cleaning our feet before we walked and traipsed all up and down through their immersive experience, but the water was nice. Very warm. 10 out of 10 on warm water. Japan, they have water.
I love warm water.
Go to Japan, they've got warm water. Let us know what you think about their warm water in the comments. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for stopping by. We hope you love warm water too.
Remember to like, follow us, and check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and comment warm water.
Send us pictures of your favorite warm water.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were gonna say something else, and I was like, please don't. I thought you were gonna say send us your pictures of your feet in warm water, and I was like,
No.
please don't send those.
I don't
I'm
need
so
the feet.
sorry. We
I
don't
just want
them.
the waiter.
No, feet are only for eggs, remember?
Yeah.
No, I don't like how many of our episodes are about feet.
That's all, folks. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for listening. If you've got any other questions or comments or want pictures of our feet, leave us some notes in the comments.
Oh,
I'm not saying you're going to get pics of our feet, but if you want them, let us know. It's good to know.
I don't want to know. Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me. Thanks so much for having me.
Bye.